You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Hello everybody, I welcome you back to my channel Value for You. In this video, we are going to see about Greta Thunberg. I think most people might not be knowing who is she. So in this video, we are going to see who is she and what was her work contributed to the world regarding climate change. And secondly, I'm going to share my thoughts regarding this climate change. And finally, we are going to see what is EIA. I thank you so much for tuning into my channel. So without any delay, let's get into the video. Greta was born on 3rd January 2003 in Stockholm, Sweden. She's just 17 years old and she is a Swedish environmental activist who has gained international recognition for promoting the view that humanity is facing an existential crisis arising from climate change. She says that she first heard about climate change in 2001 and was wondering why nothing has been done to change this, and this made her depressed. She was also being diagnosed with Asperger syndrome, compulsive obsessive disorder, and selective mutism. So guys, I just want to tell you what is selective mutism alone, because this is really a very bad disorder, I should say. The selective mutism is a complex childhood anxiety disorder characterized by child's inability to speak and communicate effectively in selected social settings. It's like generally being introvert in an extreme situation where they'll not be able to speak to people freely. Now let's see how she began her strike. In August 2018, Greta began the school climate strikes and public speeches for which she has become an internationally recognized climate activist. On 20th August 2018, Greta, who had just started ninth grade, decided not to attend school until the 2018 Swedish general election on 9th September. Thunberg said her teachers were divided in their views about her missing class to make her point. She says, as people they think what I am doing is good, but as teachers they say I should stop. Now let's see a quick view on her social media activism. Greta posted a photo of her first strike day on Instagram and Twitter, with other social media accounts quickly taking up her cause. High profile youth activists amplified her Instagram post, and on the second day, she was joined by other activists. Now, before all this strike and speeches regarding this climate change problem in public, she actually started this strike in her own house to clear this problem. So, let's look at her achievement in her own house to clear this problem. Firstly, for about 2 years, Greta challenged her parents to lower the family's carbon footprint and overall impact on the environment by becoming vegan, upcycling, and giving up flying. So, let me just quickly tell you what is this carbon footprint alone. It is the total greenhouse gas emission caused by an individual, event, or an organization. She has said she tried showing them graphs and data, but when that did not work regarding this climate change problem, she warned her family that they were stealing her future. Giving up flying in part meant her mother had to give up her international career as an open single. Thunberg credits her parents' eventual response and lifestyle changes with giving her hope and belief that she could make a difference. Now let's see some of her speeches, strikes, and protests in various parts of the world through our video clips.
My name is Greta Thunberg. I am 15 years old and I'm from Sweden. I speak on behalf of climate justice now. Many people say that Sweden is just a small country and it doesn't matter what we do. But I've learned that you are never too small to make a difference. And if a few children can get headlines all over the world just by not going to school, then imagine what we could all do together if we really wanted to. But to do that, we have to speak clearly, no matter how uncomfortable that may be. You only speak of green, eternal economic growth because you are too scared of being unpopular. You only talk about moving forward with the same bad ideas that got us into this mess, even when the only sensible thing to do is pull the emergency brake. You are not mature enough to tell it like it is. Even that burden you leave to us children. But I don't care about being popular. I care about climate justice and a living planet. Our civilization is being sacrificed for the opportunity of a very small number of people to continue making enormous amounts of money. Our biosphere is being sacrificed so that rich people in countries like mine can live in luxury. It is the sufferings of the many which pay for the luxuries of the few. The year 2078, I will celebrate my 75th birthday. If I have children, maybe they will spend that day with me. Maybe they will ask me about you. Maybe they will ask why you didn't do anything while there still was time to act. You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes. Until you start focusing on what needs to be done, rather than what is politically possible, there is no hope. We cannot solve a crisis without treating it as a crisis. We need to keep the fossil fuels in the ground, and we need to focus on equity. And if solutions within this system are so impossible to find, then maybe we should change the system itself. We have not come here to beg world leaders to care. You have ignored us in the past, and you will ignore us again. We have run out of excuses, and we are running out of time. We have come here to let you know that change is coming, whether you like it or not. My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe. The popular idea of cutting our emissions in half in 10 years only gives us a 50% chance of staying below 1.5 degrees and the risk of setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond human control. 50% may be acceptable to you, but those numbers do not include tipping points, most feedback loops, additional warming hidden by toxic air pollution, or the aspects of equity and climate justice. They also rely on my generation sucking hundreds of billions of tons of your CO2 out of the air with technologies that barely exist. So a 50% risk is simply not acceptable to us, we who have to live with the consequences. To have a 67% chance of staying below a 1.5 degrees of global temperature rise, the best odds given by the IPCC, The world had 420 gigatons of CO2 left to emit back on January 1st, 2018. Today that figure is already down to less than 350 gigatons. How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? With today's emissions levels, that remaining CO2 budget will be entirely gone within less than 8.5 years. There will not be any solutions or plans presented in line with these figures here today, because these numbers are too uncomfortable and you are still not mature enough to tell it like it is. You are failing us, but the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.